So it's sort of a cool, windy day out, if you couldn't tell from the t-shirt that I'm wearing. And so what we're going to work on here today is kind of getting the high tunnel a little bit more ready to start planting in. And the next step for that is all along here where we had to dig up for our baseboards when we started digging the dirt up through here. We got a whole bunch more rocks. So once again, we're going to do one of my favorite jobs that we've done way too many times with this project, and that is pick up rocks along through here, kind of get as many of those out of here as we can. We'll dump them over there on our big rock pile, and then at that point we can start taking some of this dirt and filling back in along the baseboards to get this sort of sealed up a bit better. Alright, we got the worst of the kind of surface level rocks pulled out of here. I already dumped them out, but it was about maybe half a wheelbarrow load full if you had it heaped up. So now we're going to go through and we're going to start scooping some of this dirt that's along here back up along the baseboard to get those sealed up to keep cold air from coming up underneath there. And I have no doubt that once we start digging into this dirt here, we're going to pull up more rocks. So probably as soon as we get that filled in along there, we're going to have to pick rocks again. Alright, so the next thing we're going to work on is, well, I guess when I said in a previous video that we were done with the build of the high tunnel, it wasn't entirely accurate. And the reason for that is that for our roll-up side curtains along through here, you're supposed to, so for the outer part that kind of clamps into the round tube, and the plastic gets kind of sandwiched in between those are held on with 1-inch Tech screws. They're like a self-tapping metal screw, and those are supposed to be in along through here, I think every foot according to our instructions. And I kind of ran out of the screws before I could get them in at that spacing. So on this side, I've only got them on 4-foot spacings. On the other side, I've got it down to a 2-foot spacing. So what we're gonna do is I've picked up another box. I think there's 140 in there, which should be plenty in order to get our 1-foot spacing. So we're gonna go through and kind of fill in what we didn't get in before. Alrighty folks, so today we are working on getting the high tunnel tilled. Now it's been, I don't know, probably at least a couple, 2 or 3 weeks since we were out here doing anything in the high tunnel last. So it's warmed up a little bit. I'm out here in a t-shirt, and as you can see, the grass and the weeds have really grown up in that time as well. So it's important to get this stuff knocked back here pretty soon to keep anything from going to seed and making the problem worse. In addition to that, I've got stuff that I need to get planted out here really soon. So I need to get the high tunnel all tilled up and ready to go. Now for doing this, a friend of mine has very generously let me borrow her PTO tiller, and this is just about the perfect size for the Massey. As you can tell, it's almost exactly the width of the wheel tread, or the wheel tracks, the width of the tractor is. So that means that as we till, we aren't going to be leaving any compacted dirt. It's all going to be getting tilled up behind the tractor. So hopefully this should work really well for getting this done, and hopefully it'll make fairly short work of it. I think we're probably going to have to go over it a couple times to just really get everything broken up and tilled up well, but we'll find out here in a little bit. I did turn the camera on, didn't I? I think I did. Yeah, we're good. All right. Change of plans here. You might have to try doing something like with the plow or something first to get it broken up enough. It's so packed down and it's gotten so hot in here that it's kind of baked. I think it's baked that soil together, and it's super hard. And as you can see, it's not able to till through it very well. Alright, so here's plan B. I'm thinking that with as hard as the ground is in here, that if I tried hooking up the plow, that it's just going to be too much for this tractor to pull. The 3-bottom plow is a bit much for this tractor as it is, and I think it would just be too much with as hard as the ground is. So we're going to try with the middle buster, the potato plow, or whatever you want to call it. Try using this to break it up a little bit, get everything loosened up, and then see if we can't come back through with the tiller once this has done its job. Every single time, y'all. Each time I think I've gotten all of these foundation stones from the old barn that was here, I'm running into another one like that. That's like 1.5 feet wide. It's got to be almost 3 foot long, weighs, oh, I don't know, a few hundred pounds. And it wasn't even that deep either. So we got to get this thing out of here. I kind of got it pried up there. We're gonna back the tractor up and try getting that thing moved over into the bucket and get that out of the way. Well, I probably should have put a new battery in the camera before I started tilling, but it is what it is, and as you can see, it's all done. And it took a while. It probably took, I'm gonna say, maybe an hour or so to do the first pass with the middle buster, and then probably another 2 hours to get everything tilled up. And I would hate to think how long it would take if you were using like a little walk behind tiller, because this was really, really rough. This is the first time that I've ever thought to myself it would have been nice to have a gear lower than first gear low range on the tractor, because I just had to go so slow because of how compacted and dried out that top couple inches of the soil was. And even with having loosened it up some with the middle buster, the sections that I hadn't hit, which I don't know, maybe 2 feet apart or so, it still had to kind of churn those up, and I had to go really, really slow. Then in addition to that, of course, always pulling up more rocks. So sometimes you'd really hit a big one, so I'd stop, get off, figure out where the rock was, get that out of there, throw that off to the side, get back on, go another 5 feet, hit another rock, get off, move it out. So there was a lot of that as well, just getting rocks out of the way. I only jammed it one time. I got one rock up in there and it bound the tiller up, and I had to get that pried out of there before I could start back off again. But so many rocks. So after I got the first pass done with really feathering the clutch to go as slow as I could, I was actually able to go full speed in first gear low range over everything a second time to really get it tilled up nice, get it all smoothed out, and getting it ready to plant. Now, just like with a new car, sooner or later you're going to get a scratch in it. The equivalent with high tunnels is sooner or later you're gonna do something and rip a little hole in your plastic. So I just barely caught the corner of the tiller right there and put a little hole in there. It's not too bad. I may come back through and use some of the extra cut off plastic and put a little patch over that, but it's small enough, it's not really that big of a deal. Alrighty folks, so with the tilling done, we're ready to start planting here in the high tunnel. But I'm going to save that for next time because I don't like editing longer videos, and I think we've got enough for one video for just getting this thing tilled and ready to go. I'm not sure if that'll be the next video. We may do a fence update between tilling and planting. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'll just kind of see how it's going and see what works to do whatever next. So that is going to be it for today. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.